Here we are in Las Vegas at the Esports Travel Summit with my man, JB, the fashion king of esports himself. How's it going today, man?
Never had a bad day, Bishop.
Absolutely, man. We just heard you up on your panel with Nielsen. How'd that go up there?
It was a good ride. Too short. I don't know if short and sweet matters, but that might have mattered.
Look, it mattered to me, man. I appreciated what you had to say up there about your approach to a regional and local level with events. Talk to us a little bit about what ULT's doing throughout the year. It was really exciting. You talked about kind of your nationwide music festival you're launching.
Yeah, so Ultimate, we always try to elevate and be a little ahead of the curve. Everybody's doing a great job out there. Every league's doing a great job, and the events being produced are becoming better and better and more technically sound. But where we want to go is just step it up a little bit, innovate where the smaller markets actually can enjoy the growth. So we're taking the crew on the road, and we're launching something called Player Mega, and we'll not launch the full thing with ticketing, everything around CES, but think of music, fashion, food, skate, 5 league events all in one canvas, which is a pop-up canvas. So spring, summer, football field, pop-up, circus style, and really take it to the masses where the market's at.
Look, man, I'm full of questions. That's pretty awesome. And a couple things. One, we saw your rocket launcher, or your flamethrower, excuse me. Is your flamethrower going to be there? Two, can we talk a little bit on Insomniac, that relationship, and how that could potentially enhance kind of your music festival that you're launching?
Well, it's not technically Insomniac. It's so their main production group is an investor in our organization. So this is a world-class group that understands, scale, right? These are the guys that scale up, 500,000 people kind of festivals. So when we roll into town, we know top to bottom, and these are the underlooked things in our industry, which is the infrastructure, right? There's ugliness to what we do, but if we do it correctly, nobody will notice. And the ugliness is things like power, like security, like bathrooms, like staging, lighting, LEDs, programming, all the media servers. It's the most overlooked thing of any event. And as you well know, you guys do events as well. So we partnered with the biggest and most badasses in the world in terms of infrastructure. That way we can concentrate on bringing the circus to town in the correct, authentic way with pros and influencers and the correct game titles across multiple genres. So that's kind of what it is.
You've been doing this event business for a long time, and it sounds like this is one of your core competencies, and one of the things that really makes ULT unique is leaning on your experience and how to run these events and budget and make sure that they look great and have an amazing experience in an authentic way for the community. I mean, how important that is to you as a leader.
And you know this too. Everybody doesn't like the word P&L, right? Sometimes it's great to run a cool company, have great culture, have fun, but at the end of the day, it's still profit and loss. This is my 6th startup. I've helped take a company public, but we're very focused on true metrics, right? How do we gauge a successful event in terms of, our talent, our crew? A lot of the events we do, we have to build staging from scratch, so we design, we do all the CAD work. It's expensive, and if you don't manage your P&L correctly, you can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Let's talk about the marketing. So you're going to go to these local, areas and activate these experiences. What's the marketing mindset behind that?
The marketing mindset is we know just on metrics that Vegas is great, LA is great, New York is great, but that's really not where the fans are. The fans are in Middle America, so our focus is going to be just that, Middle America, and how we activate. We have retail partners now at scale. We're the only company in the space that can say, I'll have 1,200 stores by Q1. It's pretty powerful when you're doing a regionalized local event, because I can activate those boots on the ground as well that drives thing. But more importantly, when you do regionalized event, you can't be the gorilla coming in and stepping on everybody, right? So everything we do will have a core tier one focus, but we'll work with the regionalized TOs, the regionalized bands, the regionalized food, the regionalized talent. So it has an authenticity of the vibe of, let's say, a Tulsa or a Detroit or something like that. And it's going to be core to the community. And then we're just the top layer that takes it up a notch. But it's got to be authentic.
That's super smart. If you're going to bring in the local TOs and some of these organizations to run, I mean, they'll bring their communities out. They'll certainly support it, and they've got that experience in that market. Smart. Does that mean we're going to see a lot of FGC and Super Smash Brothers and these kind of titles and games? What are you thinking that you're going to run?
You know, we're currently in negotiations with most every publisher, so it's going to be a mix of multiple genres. We'll have an FPS. We'll have a MOBA title. Of course, we'll have a fighting game title. We'll have a sporting title. So it's just not going to be your typical FGC pop-up. You know, there's Genesis and Evo and Frostbite and guys like that that do it really well. That's not what this is about.
Let's talk a little bit about Esports Travel Summit and why you show up to events like this.
This one was more unique. I tend to not get out much, and you know that. I'm always stuck in my office doing P&L. I think it's very important to us because it's the most overlooked item, right? You know, our budgets are so thin, and at the end of the day, they'll call and say, okay, you got to fly 10 people out. You've got to provide hotel. You've got to do lodging. In every event, the most critical piece sometimes isn't how ooh and ah the staging look. It's how the pro was treated, how the influencers was treated, and did they have a great experience? Because they're very influential to their fans, so it needs to be spot on. And all I'm trying to do is get this industry understanding that the budgets we have are small. So you can't kind of out of the gate thinking, oh my God, that dude's a millionaire, that dude's a millionaire, they're making 10 million a month. That's not the case. We've got to work together. So it's more of an educational thing, and the tide will rise and we'll get there, but you got to help us get there too.
I think you echoed that up on your panel, and I appreciate you saying that to the entire room. I think a lot of people are paying attention to that, especially starting the day off strong with that. What's the ROI to some of these venues, and how do we set the proper expectations on what they can expect?
I think the ROI to the venues is first and foremost understanding this community. You know, I'm getting to the point where I don't even like the word esports, right? It's a sport. It's just a different kind of sport. That's my boy. So, Toby, I love you, brother.
You gotta say it though.
But say the term. Yeah, the new sport. You owe me a drink. But anyway, he's spot on, right? You know, it's been called e-gaming, it's been called esports, and then debate: is it a sport? Isn't it a sport? I like to see people sit on stage for 8 hours and cognitively play that well, and then you tell me it wasn't a sport. But it's a sport. You know, let's get rid of the E. Let's get rid of anything that is association with that, and let the venues, you know, get involved. You know, I know that if we pop up across the country in simple activations, even more elaborate activations, they will embrace the venues and the retailers and others that got involved. It's very much like a NASCAR audience, right? There's a reason why NASCAR fans would drink Coke rather than Pepsi, because Coke associated themselves with NASCAR early. And so the fan wants that association too. So that's the opportunity for venues. Associate yourself early, and the fans will embrace you.
As we talk about the consolidation of companies and a lot of us startups that are gotten into the space and are trying to build viable, sustainable businesses, you referenced playing nice early on. How do we all do that and play nice in the sandbox together to not cannibalize opportunity but be collaborative?
I think our industry, people that might be my competitor, your competitor, others, we got to be honest with each other. right? I think where we get disconcerted sometimes is our industry is really small. We all talk, we all know, and I want to help even people that you would think is our competitor. Like people think that Allied's my competitor. No, I have a lot of respect for Judd. He's a good dude. If he ever needed anything from us, I'd be there to help him. He's not my competitor. We just have to work well together to help that tide rise. But the owners and the CEOs and others, we just got to communicate. Got to communicate, bottom line, be honest, and understand each and everybody's strengths and weaknesses. And then how can we work together based on that?